Finn Hudson is a fictional character from the Fox musical comedy drama series Glee. The character was portrayed by Cory Monteith and appears in Glee starting with its pilot episode, first broadcast on May 19, 2009. Finn was developed by Glee creators Ryan Murphy, Brad Falchuk and Ian Brennan. Glee follows the trials of the New Directions Glee Club at the fictional William McKinley High School in the town of Lima, Ohio. Finn is initially the quarterback of his high school football team. A popular jock at the top of the unregistered trademark's social hierarchy, when he finds himself forced to join the school's Glee Club, he discovers that he loves it, although he risks alienation from his friends by remaining a member. His storylines see him struggle with his decision to stay in the club, which is at the bottom of the social ladder, while he maintains his popular reputation and the respect of the other jocks. The character has dealt with his attraction to both head cheerleader Quinn Fabray and Glee Club star singer Rachel Berry, the series female-led. Following Monteith's death on July 13, 2013, it was announced that Finn's own death would occur in the third episode of the fifth season, titled The Quarterback. Monteith felt that Finn has had to grow up a lot during his time on the show. The actor said, "Finn started off as the stereotypical dumb jock, but as the show has gone on, Finn unregistered trademark's not dumb anymore, really, hey unregistered trademark's just a little Norvay." Early reviews of Finn from television critics were mixed. Todd Van Der Werf of the AV Club said that he and Michele were both agreeable and a little desperate for an outlet in the pilot episode. Commenting on the fifth episode of the first season, Eric Goldman of IGN wrote, "We got to see a bit of a darker side to Finn. It's good to see this, because up until now, Finn's been a bit too straight-laced to totally invest in the second season's 8th episode, Vert, Entertainment Weekly Euro's Tim Stack said, "It's been a while since we unregistered trademark they gotten some Finn focus, and I think I just missed Cory Monteith. But I also forgot what a good, natural actor he can be." Monteith as Finn won the 2011 Teen Choice Award for Choice TV, Actor Comedy, and was nominated in the same category in 2010. Although he was not a singer before being cast as Finn, Monteith sang lead or joint lead on a large number of songs on the show, most of which have charted in the US and abroad. Jessie's Girl, which Finn performed as a solo, was certified gold in Australia, one of only 3 singles to do so from the show's releases in that country. He was joint lead on Don't Stop Believin' in the pilot episode, the show's first single sung by the Glee Club, which was certified gold and platinum in Australia and the US. Development, casting and creation. Finn Hudson is portrayed by Cory Monteith. He has also been portrayed as a child by Jerry Phillips in pilot, and as a preschooler by Jake Vaughn in the episode The Substitute. When Glee was being cast, Monteith's Vancouver agent, Elena Kirshner, submitted a video of him drumming with some pencils and Tupperware containers. Series creator took notice of the video, but pointed out that he had to be singing, as auditioning actors for Glee with no theatrical experience were required to prove they could sing and dance as well as act. Monteith submitted a second, musical tape, in which he sang a cheesy, 80s music video-style version of REO Speedwagon's Can't Fight This Feeling. He then attended a mass audition in Los Angeles. His vocal skills were considered weak, but he later performed very well with one of Glee Euro's casting directors, who said that his audition captured the most elusive quality of Finn's, his naive, but not stupid sweetness. Monteith said of his casting process, "I was like a lot of kids, looking for something to be interested in, something to be passionate about. All you need is permission. Not only for Glee, but for anything in life." In December 2010, Murphy announced that some members of the cast of Glee would be replaced after the end of the third season in spring 2012, to coincide with their graduation. Murphy said, "Every year we're going to populate a new group. There's nothing more depressing than a high schooler with a bald spot." He added, "I think you have to be true to the fact that here is a group of people who come and go in these teachers' lives." Although Murphy said in July 2011 that Monteith would be one of the actors leaving at the end of the third season, Falchuk later stated that while Monteith, along with Lea Michele and Chris Colfer, will graduate at the end of the third season, because they're graduating doesn't mean they're leaving the show. Falchuk insisted that it was never our plan or our intention to let them go. They are not done with the show after this season. Characterization: Finn originated as a character who walks a fine line between following his dreams and balancing what other people expect of him. Monteith's former acting coach said, "You've got to be incredibly smart to understand how dim Finn can be," though Monteith appreciated the fact that Finn is more than just a dumb jock. He has admitted that he is sometimes frustrated by Finn's convenient dumb guy writing, and commented, "I think every actor wants to be stretched. But it's also important to realize that whatever we're doing works. I realize that this happens to an actor about once every 10 lifetimes. To be on a show that's this good, it's rarefied air." Finn has matured during his run on the show as a Euro. In January 2011, Monteith noted that he had grown up a little bit, and become a little wiser. He later expanded, "Finn's not dumb anymore, really, hey unregistered trademark s just naive. The opposite of me. I love Finn unregistered trademark s optimism. Hey unregistered trademark s very idealistic. He wants a good girl to love him, and he chases after what he wants in life that I can relate to." The actor hopes that in time his character will be able to grow and mature more. He said in an interview with MTV, "I think the harder it is for him, the better, I think Finn has a lot of growing up to do, and I think that Finn has a lot of struggle left for him. I think dealing with a lot of his dad's stuff, the passing of his father and dealing with the unrequited love all of a sudden from Rachel, I think the more trouble he goes through, the more interesting it is for me as an actor." Over the course of his run on the series, Finn's primary relationship has been with the Glee Club's main singer, Rachel. In a meeting with the press at Paley Fest 2011, which occurred when the characters were in the middle of a months-long breakup, Monteith commented, "That's a very important central relationship to the show. I think it's important, and I think they're endgame, but I can't be sure of when. I try not to get too attached to the pairing, so I can focus on storyline that does come my way." Falchuk said of the Finn-Rachel relationship ahead of the third season, "We're not interested in breaking them up this year, but at the same time the challenge is they are graduating, they are different kinds of people, and where does that take you?" During the Paley Fest 2011 Glee cast interview, Monteith said, "There are a lot of people who really want Finn and Rachel to be together. But at the same time, I think that it's really interesting when they're clearly in love with each other but they're apart. I think it makes for good television." He added, "I think there's a different dynamic to Finn with Quinn and with Rachel, and single." Storylines, Season 1. Finn is introduced as quarterback of the William McKinley High School football team. He is blackmailed into joining the school glee club, New Directions, by its faculty director Walsh Esther. Despite being ostracized by the other football players, including his best friend Puck, Finn comes to enjoy being in the club. This worries his girlfriend, head cheerleader Quinn Fabray, so she joins New Directions to keep an eye on him, afraid that lead singer Rachel Berry's interest in Finn may be reciprocated. Quinn discovers that she is pregnant, as she had cheated on Finn with Puck, but tells Finn that the baby is his, though they never actually had intercourse. She subsequently moves in with Finn and his mother Carol after her parents find out about her pregnancy and evict her. When Rachel figures out that Puck is the father and informs Finn, he attacks Puck, breaks up with Quinn, and quits the Glee club in a fury. But after cheerleading coach Sue Sylvester sabotages the Glee club's first show choir competition, he is able to set aside his anger and return to lead the club to victory. He and Rachel briefly date, but he ends the relationship to concentrate on his own well-being. By the time Finn realizes that he truly does want to be with Rachel, he is chagrined to discover that she has started dating Jesse St. James, the lead singer of rival Glee club Vocal Adrenaline. Cheerleader Santana Lopez offers to take Finn's virginity to improve her social status and his, and he accepts, but afterward he regrets having done so and claims to Rachel that he did not go through with it. She, in turn, falsely claims to have had sex with Jesse. By the time the club reach the next stage of show choir competitions, Jesse has betrayed Rachel and broken up with her. As Finn and Rachel are about to go on stage, Finn tells her that he loves her. Although they lose the competition, they become a couple and continue dating well into the next school year. Glee Club member Kurt Hummel, who is gay, has a long-standing crush on Finn, and sets up his father Bert with Finn's mother Carol in the hopes of spending more time with him. Finn initially opposes the relationship, worried that his mother will forget about his late father, but relents when Bert tells Finn that he loves Carol, though Kurt is dismayed by the deepening rapport between Finn and Bert. Finn and his mother eventually move in with the Hummels, but when Finn, uncomfortable about rooming with Kurt who he knows has a crush on him but will not admit it, uses a homophobic slur against Kurt during an argument, Bert throws him out. Finn is ashamed, and makes amends by standing up for Kurt when he is victimized by bullies. The following fall, the bullying against Kurt has intensified, but Finn refuses to stand up for him this time, concerned that it may jeopardize his position as quarterback. When their parents marry, Finn uses his best man speech as an opportunity to apologize to Kurt, which begins a brotherly bond between the two. In the spring, the two of them team up to arrange the funeral of Sue Sylvester's sister, Jean, when Sue is too upset to do so, after which Sue ends a long-running campaign to destroy the Glee Club. Season 2, at the beginning of the second season, Finn runs afoul of the new football coach, Shannon Beist, who briefly kicks him off the team, but he is eventually reinstated, and soon becomes quarterback again. Rachel learns the truth about Finn sleeping with Santana. Hurt, she makes out with Puck to get even with Finn. This betrayal causes Finn to break up with her. The football team clinches a spot in the championship game, but animosity is running high between Glee and non-Glee members and harming the team's performance. In the Sue Sylvester shuffle, Coach Beist and Will Schuester force the entire football team to join the Glee Club for a week to settle their differences and dispel their prejudices. After a promising start, the non-Glee members quit the club and are kicked off the team. At the same time, Sue arranges to have the cheerleading regionals rescheduled to conflict with the football championship to sabotage both Beist and Will, whose Glee Club now has to do the half-time show. With the football team down to half-strength and the Glee Club without its cheerleader members, football players Finn and Puck settle their differences. Puck convinces the non-Glee football players to perform in the half-time show, which will also get them back on the team, while Finn convinces Quinn, Santana, and Brittany to quit the Cheerios and perform in the half-time show instead. The show is a great success, and the football team wins the championship game. Emboldened by leading the team to the championship, Finn sets his eyes on a new prize, Quinn, who is in a serious relationship with football player and Glee Club member Sam Evans. After setting up a kissing booth ostensibly to raise money for the Glee Club, Finn succeeds in kissing Quinn, and they make an assignation. Although Quinn ultimately decides to stay with Sam, he finds out about her cheating on him with Finn, and breaks up with her. Finn and Quinn reunite, campaign together for prom king and queen and go to junior prom together, but Finn is kicked out for fighting with a newly returned Jessie over Rachel, and prom king and queen are won by other students. Finn ultimately breaks up with Quinn again because he realizes how deep his feelings are for Rachel. At Nationals, as the New Directions are about to go on stage, Finn begs Rachel to come back to him, but though she professes her love, she refuses, still torn between her lifelong dream of Broadway stardom and her love for him. At the end of their duet Pretending, written by Finn the audience responds with awkward silence as Rachel and Finn actually kiss. The club consequently fails to place at Nationals. Back in Ohio, Rachel tells Finn she is moving to New York for college and will not be coming back. He reminds her that they have a whole year until graduation and they kiss, renewing their relationship. Season 3, as the new school year begins, Finn, a senior, has trouble figuring out what he wants to do with his life after graduation. In the 5th episode, The First Time, Finn is not recruited to play football in college, as he had hoped. He and Rachel decide to have sex together for the first time. In the episode Mash Off, Santana, who has joined the rival Troubletones, is relentlessly bullying Finn. After a fake apology pushes him to the edge, Finn tells her to just come out of the closet, and accuses her of being a coward for tearing other people down only because she can't admit to everyone that she's in love with Brittany. They are overheard by a girl whose uncle is running against Sue in a congressional campaign, and he uses Santana's lesbianism because she's Sue's cheerleading co-captain against Sue in a campaign commercial, effectively outing her. Santana, devastated by this, slaps Finn, but he later claims it was a stage slap to prevent her from being suspended. In the episode Yes No, Finn asks Rachel to marry him. In the episode On My Way, the wedding is set for after the regionals competition, which New Directions wins, but it is cancelled after Quinn is badly injured in a car crash on her way to the ceremony. They change the wedding day to after graduation, but after Finn fails to get into his New York acting school while she has been accepted by hers and she decides to wait a year, he instead sends her off to New York without him, and tells her that he has enlisted in the army and is setting her free. Season 4, Finn has not been in touch with Rachel or Kurt all summer and into the fall. The two friends are now rooming together in Brooklyn while Rachel is attending Yada, but he reappears unexpectedly at the end of the third episode. He has been given an early discharge from the army after injuring himself. He finds out she kissed Brody, a NYADA junior, and feels that he doesn't belong in her world in New York, so he returns to Lima without telling her. She then breaks up with him. In Lima, Finn is working at Bert's tire shop again, and Artie enlists his help to co-direct the school musical, Grease, which had been Finn's suggestion. When Rachel comes to see the musical in the Glee episode, their reunion does not go well, and they agree to refrain from contact when Rachel visits Lima in the future. Will takes a leave of absence from McKinley to be a member of a Blue Ribbon panel in Washington, D.C., so starting in dynamic duets, Finn becomes the interim director of New Directions. While he has a rocky start in the position, they come to accept him as their leader. At sectionals, the Glee Club loses to the Warblers after Marley passes out on stage, interrupting the performance. Afterward, Finn does what he can to keep the club together and finally succeeds despite Sue's opposition. She has deprived New Directions of rehearsal space at school. The Warblers are disqualified, and New Directions is again eligible to compete in regionals. The choir room is returned to them. Finn enlists Emma, who is deep in wedding preparations in advance of Will's return, to help him judge a Glee Club competition for which member is the best diva. When he finds her panicking over the reception arrangements, he kisses her. In I Do, when Emma flees the church the day of the wedding, Finn blames himself, but Rachel sets him straight, and he and Rachel sleep with each other post-reception. In Girls on Film, Finn teams up with Artie to help find Emma for Will. He later confesses to Will that he kissed Emma, and Will is unable to forgive him. Since working with Will is untenable, Finn leaves New Directions though he enjoyed directing them. Marley tells him he's a good teacher, and he should get a teaching degree. He goes to college, where he shares a dorm room with Pucker, who isn't actually attending the school. Will later asks Finn to return to co-lead New Directions, and he agrees. Meanwhile, Santana has discovered that Brody, who is now living with Rachel, is a gigolo, and tells Finn, who flies to New York and warns Brody away, ultimately beating him up and saying, "Stay away from my future wife." When Rachel finds out and breaks up with Brody, she admits that the relationship never would have worked because she was using it to try to get over her heartache about Finn. Rachel later thanks him for his intervention in Sweet Dreams, when she calls him to get advice for choosing an audition song for the upcoming Broadway revival of Funny Girl. Season 5, the third episode of Season 5, The Quarterback, opens 3 weeks after Finn's funeral. No cause of death is given. In voiceover, Kurt explains that it is the circumstances of Finn's life that matter, not the circumstances of his death. Musical performances, as Finn is the most frequent male lead in New Directions numbers, Monteith features in a great many musical performances which have been released as singles available for digital download and are also featured in the show's soundtrack albums. He frequently shares vocal leads with the main female singer, Rachel, as in the pilot episode's closing song, Journey's Don't Stop Believin', the single of which has sold over 1 million copies and been certified platinum in the US and Australia. Like Finn, Monteith was a novice singer when the show started. In an interview with GQA's Alex Papademos, he noted that, early on, who could hear the auto-tune. He was not called on to sing much on the first few episodes, as he rapped in Push It for Showmance, had a short solo phrase in the song I Wanna Sex You Up in Akaflas, and was not featured as a vocal lead in Preggers. Over the next 3 episodes, he shares the lead on 4 group numbers. 3 are with Rachel, Queen Somebody to Love, No Air, and Keep Holding On. The 4th is a boys-only mashup of Bon Jovi's It's My Life with Usher's Confessions Part 2, where Finn sings lead on the It's My Life sections and Artie on the rest. Excluding a scene from the pilot of him singing a portion of Can't Fight This Feeling in the Shower, Finn's first solo songs are not until the show's 10th episode, Ballad. Finn sings I'll Stand By You to the unborn child he thinks is his, and later sings, You're Having My Baby to Quinn, the mother of the child, in front of her parents, who respond by evicting her from the family home. He has 2 solo numbers later in the season, Hello, I Love You by The Doors, characterized by Bobby Hankinson of the Houston Chronicle as one of Finn's best vocal performances to date, and Jess's Girl by Rick Springfield. The latter song charted in the top 10 in Australia, Canada and Ireland, and was certified gold in Australia, one of only 3 singles from Glee to have received gold certification in that country. Finn sings lead more frequently in the second half of the first season, as he is featured in over a dozen songs, including several with Rachel. However, in Glee's second season, he sings lead in fewer songs than in the first, though he again sings a significant proportion with Rachel, including the duets Don't Go Breaking My Heart, With You I'm Born Again, Last Christmas, and the one ostensibly written by Finn at the end of the season, Pretending. His first solo performance of the second season, in the episode Grilled Choices, is R.E.M's Losing My Religion. Monteith said he and series music producer Adam Anders had a bit of a different idea about how the song should be performed. While Anders always brings the songs in very positive, very upbeat, he felt the song was expressing a betrayal, and with Finn feeling both betrayal and anger, Monteith wanted his performance to reflect that. Anthony Benigno of the Daily News commented positively on the arrangement of Monteith's song, and graded the performance an A, but Erica Futterman of Rolling Stone was critical of the arrangement, and said Monteith's performance was more awkward than inspired. Finn's other solo is I've Gotta Be Me in the episode Born This Way. In the episode Flirt, when Finn's mother marries Kurt's father and the Glee Club provides music for the wedding, 2 of the songs are by Bruno Mars, Marry You, which is sung by the entire club as a big processional production number, and Just the Way You Are, which is sung by Finn to Kurt at the reception. Raymond Flanders of the Wall Street Journal characterized the 2 Bruno Mars songs as brilliant in execution and touching in sentiment, and Futterman agreed, the Bruno Mars songs gave the show 2 of its best performances this season. While Benigno and Stack also praised Just the Way You Are, and both gave the song an A, Jen Harper of Buddy TV thought Monteith's vocals as Finn aren't the strongest, and AOL Chvaeuros Gene Bentley also wished Finn had not been the soloist. In the Sue Sylvester Shuffle, Finn led his football teammates, some of whom were performing with the Glee Club under duress, in the Zombies' She's Not There. Van der Werf called it one of the better numbers of the season, and Futterman felt that Monteith's vocals were a perfect fit for the song. Finn's sole duet with Quinn, Fleetwood Mac's I Don't Want to Know from the episode Rumors, was given an award by Entertainment Weekly Sandra Gonzalez, and Futterman said it was better than Quinn and Sam's Lucky, which he had called charming, when it was performed in duets. Reception. Critical response. The character of Finn has gotten mixed to positive reviews from television critics. Van der Werf praised the terrific cast in the pilot episode, and wrote that Monteith and Michele are both agreeable and a little desperate for an outlet as the show choirs central 2 singers. The Chicago Tribune Near-Euro Maureen Ryan opined that Cory Monteith gives quarterback Finn Hudson a jockish authority mixed with an appealingly square naivete. Korbiosh of Zap to It enjoyed Finn's sweet nature, and observed, it's clear that at Finn's core, he's a good person. Shauna Malcolm of the Los Angeles Times noted a contradiction in his characterization in the episode Preg as she questioned whether the intelligence he demonstrated in striving for a football scholarship was incongruent in a character who believed he had impregnated Quinn by sharing a hot tub with her. Goldman welcomed the emergence of Finn's darker side as he manipulated Rachel in The Roads Not Taken, as up until now, Finn's been a bit too straight-laced to totally invest in. Denise Martin of the Los Angeles Times added, "Did anyone not want to kill Finn for coming on to Rachel to get her to come back to the club?" In his review of Ballad, Goldman commented, "Finn singing 'I'll Stand By You' to the unborn baby he thinks is his was very sweet." He found the scene that followed Finn's revelation of Quinn's pregnancy to her parents the grimmest on Glee to that point. The intense sequence featuring Finn, Kurt and Bert in theatricality garnered praise for Monteith from James Ponyazic of Time, who wrote, "One thing I love about his performance, here and throughout Glee, is that he plays Finn as a kid, which of course he still is. He's basically a good kid, but as his faggy outburst shows, he's flawed and often overwhelmed. And while he has little to do during Bert's lecture but react, his reactions are great, he's scared and defensive, but shows Finn's guilt at the same time." When Finn's mother marries Kurt's father in the second season's 8th episode, Furt, Stack was pleased to see Finn being featured. Unregistered trademark. "It's been a while since we unregistered trademark they gotten some Finn focus, and I think I just missed Cory Monteith. But I also forgot what a good, natural actor he can be." While giving the Sue Sylvester Shuffle episode a C grade, Van der Werf wrote as an aside, "Lea unregistered trademark pause for a moment to give Cory Monteith some praise, though, since he was asked to do a lot of difficult things in this episode, in regards to selling the idea of Finn as a leader, bringing disparate groups together, and he mostly managed that task, much better than he has in past episodes." While reviewing Funeral, the season's penultimate episode, Gonzalez said, "I was glad that the writers chose Finn and Kurt to be the ones to connect with Sue because I think they're two of the most genuine characters on the show. I think they pulled it off well." In his review of Funeral, Van der Werf noted that Finn was not the best vocalist among the male students. "The show hits on something very odd in its DNA. Finn continues to be the male lead of the group because unregistered trademark s the male lead of the show, less because unregistered trademark s the best singer New Directions has. But because unregistered trademark s trying to get better, but unregistered trademark s okay." At the conclusion of the second season, Ponyazic wrote that he had not found the relationship between Finn and Rachel the most compelling story of the season, and as such didn't enjoy New York as much as he might have, and Van der Werf commented that their storyline had ceased being too interesting long ago. However, the former conceded, "I may not be that invested in Finn-Rachel, but the startling moment where the audience disappeared in the middle of their kiss made me feel like I was," and the latter opined that their kiss resonated, despite being unoriginal and too neat way of suggesting that Rachel can't have both Finn and her Broadway dreams. Accolades: Monteith won the 2011 Teen Choice Award in the Choice TV Actor Comedy category for his portrayal of Finn, and was a member of the Glee cast ensemble given the Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble in a Comedy Series award at the 16th Screen Actors Guild Awards. He received several other nominations for the role, including Teen Choice Awards in 2009 for Choice TV, Breakout Star Male, and in 2010 for Choice TV, Comedy Actor, and the 17th Screen Actors Guild Awards Ensemble nomination for Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble in a Comedy Series. References. External links: Finn Hudson at Fox.com, Finn Hudson at the Internet Movie Database.